marches across the Brazos River, and the Baylor line takes the field. It's Iowa State at 6-4 against Baylor. They are 1-9. Welcome to Fox College Football with Brian Baldinger. I'm Mark Followell. A pleasure as always to have you with us. For Baylor, this is a time of rebuilding. They're looking to their future, and they're trying to make their future as good as it can be. By doing that in the present, Baldy, they're feeding a lot of reps and time to their freshman quarterback, Charlie Brewer, making his third straight start today.
And he's played well. I mean, he beat Kansas 2 weeks ago, and then against Texas Tech last week, he had a good game. But in the last 2 games now, he's completed over 71% of his passes. He's thrown 6 touchdowns versus 1 interception. And he gives the Baylor Bears a chance. Last week against Texas Tech, making throws like this down the field to Mims. And, you know, he threw it 63 times. He completed 43. Both of those are Baylor records for 417 yards. Charlie Brewer, I think, is a bright spot for the future of Baylor.
Meanwhile, for Iowa State, the turnaround has been very quick. Second season under Matt Campbell. They're bowl eligible. Yep. One more win is their first winning season since 2009. A lot of hard work has gone into this quick turnaround. That hard work personified by Joel Lanning, the former starting quarterback, now starting middle linebacker, but still plays quarterback.
I like him in the leather helmet, though, because he is a throwback, Mark. This is a guy that plays all phases of the game. He's their leading middle linebacker tackler, second in the Big 12 with 99 tackles. He's all over the field defensively. But then he'll run a land-ran package, a wildcat package. Last week, he threw that touchdown pass to fellow senior Alan Lazard. He also is the punt protector on the punt team. He's played 800 snaps this year. He deserves a leather helmet. He is a throwback.
On the field today, we have Leslie McCaslin. Leslie.
Well, guys, 19 seniors will be recognized today as they play their final game here at home. And this group is so important to this program because over everything that's happened the last couple of years here at Baylor, they decided to stay and be leaders here for Baylor. And Coach Ruhle told us that this group is so important because he feels like in the future now they'll have a chance to win because they decided to remain here. Coach Ruhle told us that he will have a picture of this senior class hanging in his office for the rest of his career. Guys like Taylor Young, Brian Nance, they have meant so much to this team that today the entire Baylor team is playing for these 19 seniors, guys.
Looking for their second win of the year. Matt Ruhle won 2 games in his first season at Temple en route to turning it around by seasons 3 and 4, both 10-win seasons for Matt Ruhle at Temple. And speaking of turnaround, that's what's happened with Matt Campbell in his second year at Iowa State after his time at Toledo. And last year, Baldy, there were signs late in the year. They won a couple of games late in the season, en route to a 3-9 record. 6-4 this year. They're bowl eligible. Obviously, they'll be going. 7 wins is a possibility as soon as today, which would be their first winning season since 2009.
You know, and Matt Campbell expects to win. So does Matt Ruhle. Both of them expect to win. Matt Campbell, in his second season, they were undefeated in October, knocking off both Oklahoma and TCU in that stretch. They were 2 teams in the top 5. No Iowa State team in history had ever accomplished that.
6-4. A 7-point loss last week to Oklahoma State. A 4-point loss the week before at West Virginia. 4-3 in the Big 12, the record for Iowa State. Baylor lost last week in Arlington at AT&T Stadium, 38-24. The kickoff to Deshaunte Jones by Jay Sedgwick. And Deshaunte Jones running it out from the end zone, fielded it a couple of yards deep, and brought down by Verkedrick Vaughns, just shy of the 25-yard line. The Cyclones on offense with Seth Noland, a freshman from Watkinsville, Georgia, making his first start.
And he came in relief last week with Kyle Campbell and immediately took the team down and gave them a spark. And we watched him warm up, Mark. This kid has a cannon for an arm. It's windy out here today. I don't think he's going to be affected by the wind the way he can throw.
At 6'2", 222, we saw him today making stick throws, Brian, into the wind with the wind at his back, whatever the case was. He looks like the arm strength is ready to go today after Kyle Kemp hurt his shoulder last week. He'll hand the ball off on the first play of the game to Seth Noland. Jordan Williams with a tackle against David Montgomery, one of the players to watch for the Iowa State offense.
Well, this guy leads the nation right now in broken tackles. I mean, he makes so many things just happen himself. Over 83% of the rush yards are from Montgomery. He's a special player. He followed Matt Campbell from Ohio. He's from Cincinnati area, was a recruit there, followed him to Iowa State.
So good that Mike Warren, he ran for over 1,300 yards 2 years ago, rarely runs the ball these days. As Nolan throws it, it's caught by Trevor Ryan. Ryan goes down quickly for a loss. Tayon Sells on the tackle, and also on that defense, an impact player for Baylor is Taylor Young, who we spoke of a moment ago.
Well, he's a senior, and he's a middle linebacker now. He got moved when Clay Johnston was injured 3 weeks ago. He's a natural middle linebacker. He gets all the communication out, tells everybody what to do, and wherever the ball is, that's where Taylor Young will be.
8 tackles for loss, 3 sacks this year. Hand on to Montgomery. This is 3rd down and very long. They needed 13 yards on 3rd down. And the running play by Montgomery only picks up 8 yards, maybe 7, depending on the spot. Deontay Williams a tackle. And it's a 3 and out to start the game for the Cyclones.
Well, you know, they ran the ball there on their 3 plays, and so maybe the wind affected it. The decision right there by Matt Campbell, Tom Manning, the offensive coordinator. But that's a great opening series by Baylor.
They are going into the wind here on that first series and in the first quarter. Baylor won the toss and deferred their option. The punt headed for Tony Nicholson from Colin Downing. Nicholson, the sophomore from South Grand Prairie High School in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, runs up and fields a fair catch at the 34-yard line for Baylor. And here they go, not even 2 minutes into the game on offense for the first time today. An impact player for the Baylor offense. You see him in the huddle. 5'8" running back JaMycal Hasty. Last week, 73 yards on the ground, 9 catches. He only had 10 in his collegiate career before last week.
And, you know, he's been getting healthier. He was the original starting back of Baylor this year, but he got hurt. He sprained his MCL, missed a couple of games. Gradually getting back into form. We saw him last week against Texas Tech, the healthiest he's been, and I think he's an all-purpose back. He can block, he can catch, and he was a good running back last week.
And last year he ran for 623 yards. Here's a throw, or at least looking to throw Charlie Brewer, but there's nowhere to throw to, and he'll slide down on a scramble. The series starts at the 34. Brewer gives himself up after a 3-yard scramble. As we look at the Iowa State defense, an impact player is Jaquan Bailey.
Only a sophomore, and Iowa State loves to play a 3-man defensive front. And Bailey plays one of the defensive end positions. Great last week.
He's from Jacksonville, Florida. 5 sacks this year. A cut to the outside and a run down the sideline. There's Hasty, and Hasty stays on his feet and stays in bounds. And Baylor on their second snap gets a long touchdown run from Hasty.
Well, let's take a look here on the outside right here, how they seal the edge up to Marcel Spears, the linebacker. They pull Bo Porter, the left tackle, and now Hasty's walking the tightrope down the sideline. He did not. Oh, he did step out. This will get brought back. It will get reviewed. It is right now. Great effort right there by Peavy.
After reviewing the play, the runner stepped out at the 22-yard line with his right foot. Please set the game clock to 12:29. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 22-yard line. Right hash. 12:29 on the clock.
Brian, is still a 41-yard run for JaMycal Hasty on the second snap of the game. Baylor now 2 yards outside the red zone, where they really struggled last week turning the ball over or turning it over on downs in a goal line stand.
Well, they got stopped on the goal line against Texas Tech, and they fumbled twice inside the 20-yard line. Chance to score. Exchange problems between the quarterback and the running back.
There is no running back now after Hasty's 41-yard run. He'll go over into the slot on the left side. Brewer is throwing for the end zone, and it's broken up. And Brian Peavy, who saved a touchdown a moment ago, breaks up a pass intended for Jared Atkinson.
Well, this ball to Atkinson, you're going to see it. The ball's going to get knocked down. The wind is going to affect this Charlie Brewer throw. Kind of hangs right there and allows Peavy to catch up. Charlie Brewer's that's a great play by Peavy. 2 touchdown-saving plays by Brian Peavy here on this opening drive.
Brian Peavy leads the Iowa State defense with 6 passes defended this year. That was his 7th. Here's a quick throw to Hasty. Hasty in space. Eludes tackles and is bumped down inside the 15. He's short of the first down. Jaquan Bailey keeps him from achieving that first down. A 3rd down and short upcoming.
Yeah, there's Jaquan Bailey coming from the other side to stop that. I think Baylor's in a situation right now where with you're 1-8, 1-9 right now, you can afford to take 4 downs here to get this first down.
3rd and 3. Brewer standing in the pocket. Now flushed. Accelerates, runs out of bounds. Smart play by Marcel Spears Jr. to avoid a potential hit out of bounds. Just forced Brewer out short.
Well, he's going to step up. Just a 3-man rush. But he doesn't want to panic. He wants to keep the play alive. Bailey chases him. Spears chases him. And I said that Baylor's record at 1-9. You're in 4-down territory here. So it's 4th and 1. You got all the reason in the world to go for it. Stopped last week on 4th and 1 by Texas Tech at the goal line.
4th and 1. Play fake. Roll. Throw. Ish Wainwright the catch. 10. 5. Touchdown for the big tight end. The former Hoops player, Ish Wainwright.
Great call of the bootleg fake to the freshman John Lovett. Here he is going to come right across the formation of the bootleg fake here to Lovett. Nobody picks up Wainwright. He catches his 2nd touchdown of the season. And how excited is Baylor about the potential for Ish Wainwright to be one of those basketball players that ends up excelling and becomes an NFL player.
Following that Rico Gathers path. Gathers on the roster for the Dallas Cowboys. Ryan noted 2 touchdowns for Wainwright. Those are his only 2 catches this year. One came against Kansas, and that one for 13 yards on 4th down against Iowa State. The big man's coming right at you off the throw from Brewer. Wainwright in the end zone to give Baylor the early lead 4 minutes in. Baylor with the lead thanks to the 13-yard touchdown reception by tight end Ish Wainwright. With more on him, here's Leslie McCaslin.
Well, guys, we know he's a 4-year basketball star here at Baylor. So making the transition to football not as easy. He hadn't played since high school. So the coaches were trying to make it easy on him by bringing the 2 together. Told him as far as touchdowns go or receiving a pass, go after it like you go after a rebound. Well, guys, seems like it's working. That's his 2nd touchdown in his very young football career now.
Well, he's from Kansas City, but then he went to high school at Montrose Christian in Maryland, which just happens to be Kevin Durant's old high school.
Not a bad little breeding ground for basketball players.
Kickoff, Jay Sedgwick. Deshaunte Jones, rather than Landon Akers, returning kicks today for Iowa State. Jones is run back from the 5, and good pursuit on special teams. Jaron McVay is down for the tackle, and Iowa State and a tough spot field position-wise, starting at their own 17 on their 2nd drive.
Losses. It's their specialty. Jaquan Bailey, one of those 3 defensive linemen. Hard to get them out of this 3 defensive lineman look. With the middle linebacker, Lanning, number 7.
That's their 77th tackle for loss this year. Here comes late pressure from Lanning, and he sacks Brewer. The ball came out at the end, but Brewer was down. The sack is made, though, on 3rd down by Joel Lanning.
Well, Lanning is the middle linebacker. And here he is. He's just going to be spying right here, Charlie Brewer. Wherever Brewer goes, he's got his eyes on him. And then once he thinks he can get him, then he comes after him. So one quarterback, ex-quarterback, taking down another quarterback, and Lanning with now over 100 tackles on the season for the Cyclones.
Heavy pressure on the Connor Martin punt. Not a very good punt, angling out of bounds. No chance for Iowa State to return. They will have good field position on their 2nd drive. Just under 8 minutes left first quarter. Right now, we go to Greg Wolf in Los Angeles with a college football game break.
All right, guys, thanks. Over on FS1, number 12, TCU. Playing without quarterback Kenny Hill, didn't make the trip due to concussion-like symptoms. Sean Robinson filling in. Just his 5th completion of the day. Finds Jalen Rager. 12 yards scored, 17-3. TCU 4th quarter. Of course, Horned Frogs control their own destiny to reach that Big 12 championship. Back to you.
Could be TCU and Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship game. That's still to be sorted out over the next 2 weeks. We're thinking, Brian, maybe Iowa State got a little bit of that punt.
I think so, yeah. A little deflection.
It went only 21 yards, and the Cyclones on offense at their own 35. A quick throw to Deshaunte Jones. He ran out of 1 tackle, and then he's hit hard from behind. after a short gain. The reception for Jones is 23rd of the year.
Well, Deontay Williams is going to come number 40. He's going to have a chance to make this tackle. Kind of comes a little bit out of control. They've been working real hard. In fact, they were in pads on Tuesday and Wednesday this week, working on their tackle, trying to keep their head up.
Freshman James Lynch ran him down from behind after a 3-yard pickup. Here's a cutback run. David Montgomery, bumped by one of his own linemen, stays on his feet. And a first down out to midfield.
Well, make no mistake, on this good Iowa State team, David Montgomery is their best player. They try to get him the ball as much as they possibly can. Just an underneath handoff here.
And a drop pass by Deshaunte Jones. It bounced right back to him, and that probably allows him to breathe a sigh of relief in case he was concerned it was a lateral, which I don't believe it was.
Well, Teon Sells has been healthy, and he's been one of those seniors that Matt Ruhle said he's got a picture of the seniors. It's going to stay with them for as long as he's coaching. Special group, he says.
Been through a lot. Nolan will pitch it. Montgomery cutting back into in the middle of the field. It has a 5-yard gain.
Good pursuit. Good team tackling right here. Montgomery's going to bounce this to the outside of this little pitch option. But he's going to be forced back inside. And here comes all the gray jerseys that Baylor's wearing today.
Iowa State usually throws on 3rd down.
Yeah.
We saw them run it on 3rd and 13 earlier. Sheldon Croney's in right now at running back, Brian.
Yeah, Croney the backup right now to David Montgomery.
And you're right, Iowa State leads the nation on percentage of 3rd down plays that are passes, and they're looking to throw, and it's outside, and it's a bullet throw. Matthew Eaton catches the pass from Zeb Nolan for a first down.
Well, that was a rifle shot that time by Zeb Nolan through the wind to Matthew Eaton, who played for Matt Ruhle at Temple, transferred to Iowa State. Never wanted to lose him from Temple.
18th catch of the year. Now Nolan going up top. Nolan throwing it for the end zone, and it is Alan Lazard with the touchdown. 9th one of the year, and Alan Lazard has become the all-time leading receiving yards player in Iowa State history.
It was just a jump ball to Alan Lazard, something he's so used to. Nolan gave him a chance off the play action. He put a lot of air under this, but Lazard catches one of these, it seems like every week, against Teon Sells. Baylor's trying to man turn into the receiver and try to play through the receiver's hands to knock it out. But once Lazard got both mitts on it, he wasn't giving it up.
He needed 26 yards to pass Todd Blythe to be the all-time leader in receiving yards at Iowa State. That went for 36 yards, so it's a piece of history for Alan Lazard, who's had such a wonderful career in Ames. Today at McLean Stadium, falling down, catches the tying touchdown of the first quarter. From Urbandale, Iowa, Alan Lazard, what a career he's had for Iowa State. As a senior, he's going to be sent off with a trip to a bowl game, and here he is passing Todd Blythe. He's the all-time leader now in receiving yards. He's also the all-time leader in receptions at Iowa State with well over 200. And about that 36-yard grab for the TD.
Well, it's typical what he does almost every week for this team. He won the Oklahoma game early in October with the game-winning catch. He's a captain. His father was a captain at Iowa State, followed the tradition, grew up in the shadows, kind of the local star. He's always asked to be doing things civically and always responds.
46 straight games with the reception for Lazard. From the goal line on the kickoff, bobbled by Trevor White, turns and picks it up and runs to the sideline and out of bounds. John Haycock was the defensive coordinator at Toledo. He was a head coach at the FCS level, winning 60 games in 9 seasons at Youngstown State. And a big hole for John Lovett to run through. He picks up a first down. Snap from the 17, run up to the 30 for 13 yards for Lovett.
Well, he's going to run right behind Sam Tecklenburg, the center. He gets a good block on Lanning. And this is a back that's 6'2", 200 pounds, a New Jersey kid that was a Temple recruit. Battled turf toe, a bunch of injuries, but healthy.
Going into today, 3 tight ends had caught 5 passes this year for Baylor. Their tight ends had 2 catches today. The Wainwright touchdown The Furbacher grab on 3rd down, and then a short running play here on 1st down for Baylor as we go under 4 minutes left in the 1st quarter.
Season highs for Baylor a week ago.
That was a 3-yard run for Lovett. They fake it to Lovett. Brewer throws. Furbacher again tackled low and dumped to the turf by Reggie Wilkerson, but just enough for another 1st down.
We mentioned last week, this is what Baylor did against Texas Tech. 92 plays, 523 yards of offense, time of possession, 1st downs, 3rd downs. They were the best in all those categories a week ago. So while they're 1-9, Matt Ruhle believes his team is improving.
On the 10th play of the drive, it's a throw, it's a catch. Blake Lynch wrestled down by Everett Edwards and Reggie Wilkerson. This goes inside the Cyclones 30.
You know, we talked about Joel Lanning being a two-way player. Blake Lynch is a two-way player for Baylor as well. Played both cornerback and receiver a week ago. He's kind of done whatever they want him to do. Right now, he's going to be in the left slot. But he'll also line up and play some cornerback, too, as well today.
He has 6 pass breakup as defender, Blake Lynch does. But he's having to play wide receiver because of so many injuries at wide receiver. Another one went down last week, freshman Gavin Holmes. But they've also lost Chris Platt to injury this year. R.J. Sneed is out. Time has been missed throughout the season by Tony Nicholson and Pooh Strickland as well.
And that's why right here, the tight end, Jordan Furbacher, is playing receiver.
And it's why Hasty is lined up sometimes this year as a receiver and caught 9 passes last week. It's another running play. Love it. Bumped out by Marcel Spears. Short gain.
This is a time-consuming drive. It's a good drive by Baylor here, keeping Iowa State's offense off the field, working against a very good Iowa State defense, controlling the ball.
12th play of that drive is coming up. Last minute of the 1st quarter. Brewer a pass, and Furbacher with his 3rd catch of the drive. Brian, he had 3 catches all season before today.
Well, we mentioned the injuries to wide receiver. That's part of it. And then they want to get his 2 tight ends on the field as much as possible to try to protect against Iowa State's defensive front. And so he's on the field a lot more, although both tight ends are off the field on this down.
That went for 3 yards. 16 receiving yards on this drive for Furbacher. Now another throw on 3rd down. Caught by Tony Nicholson, out of bounds right at the 1st down marker.
Well, this is Nicholson here. I talked to him before the game. I said, "Are you healthy? You ready to go?" And he goes, "If they need me." Well, they need him to get that 1st down. He went out of bounds a little short, setting up this 4th down. Of course, we've seen him go for it on 4th and 1 on the opening drive and score a touchdown on a bootleg throw to Ish Wainwright.
19 seconds remaining in the 1st quarter.
They were having a hard time trying to figure out what personnel to get on the field.
The running back is Hasty. And they're going for it on 4th and 1, and Hasty up the gut with a 1st down. 2 4th down attempts, 2 conversions in the 1st quarter for Baylor.
Good push up front. Good push from Xavier Newman-Johnson, Tecklenburg. You can see they moved the line of scrimmage here. Hasty just jumped into that seam. Picked up a good 3 yards from that run.
That's how the 1st quarter ends with a 4th and 1 conversion for Baylor. Their 1st quarter touchdown was on a 4th and 1 pass play to Ish Wainwright. And Iowa State has a long touchdown pass today to Alan Lazard. 1 quarter is done at Waco, Texas. 7-7 is the score. It is a warm Saturday before Thanksgiving in Waco, Texas. 7-7 is the score after 1 quarter. Iowa State and Baylor. Here's the Coyote game summary, Brian. For Baylor, they've run the ball for 79 yards. Overall, 130 yards of offense compared to 69 yards of offense for the Cyclones.
And that coach in the picture is George DeLeon, the offensive line coach. He's happy with those numbers. He coached Doug Marrone at Syracuse. He was the offensive line coach for the Cleveland Browns. Coach Joe Thomas coached a lot of great players along his way.
Baylor's staff has more NFL experience than any college coaching staff in FBS this year. JaMychal Hasty runs the ball. The staff has 37 seasons of NFL experience going into this year.
Yeah, Matt Ruhle coached with Tom Coughlin with the New York Giants. He was the offensive line coach there. And Bobby Bicknell, the wide receiver coach, coached for a long time at Kansas City and Buffalo and San Francisco and Philadelphia in the NFL. Jeff Nixon, the offensive coordinator, most recently the running back coach in Miami.
Another run for Hasty. No, it's a fake. And Brewer escapes the pressure, out of bounds. Marcel Spears was in the backfield. Brewer got away from him, stepped out at the 10.
Well, last week they had 2 fumble exchanges between Brewer and the running backs, and I'm not sure right here if he was trying to give that ball to JaMychal Hasty and then just kind of scrambled for whatever he could get.
Which was a yard. Baylor's converted multiple 3rd downs and also a 4th down on this drive. They have 3rd and 5. It's a long 5 from just inside the 10. Brewer throwing end zone, back of the end zone, corner of the end zone. Jump ball for Wainwright and incomplete.
Well, he's going up against Kamari Cotton Moya, and he caught it. His right foot, I believe, came down out of bounds. He went high, took that ball right off the rim, to use some basketball jargon. He is, you can see the right or left foot came down out of bounds. Great shot, though, that he didn't possess the ball all the way through. But he can go get a jump ball like that.
Senior safety, Ryan mentioned his name, Kamari Cotton Moya on coverage. 5 career interceptions, including 3 this season. Field goal try by Connor Martin extends the lead to 10-7. 27-yard attempt. And this year, Martin now 17 of 20. 85% on field goals. Baylor leads by 3. A look at the Baylor campus. Bears lead Iowa State 10-7. Early second quarter. Baylor just had their longest drive of the year, 19 plays, converting a field goal. Then a kickoff that will go out of bounds and give Iowa State good starting field position.
It's going to affect these young kids going down the road.
Back to throw. Noland lobs it up, and it's Lazard running under it to catch it. First down for Iowa State, out beyond the 35-yard line.
Well, Lazard's just going to do a great job of adjusting to this ball. Baylor comes with the blitz. It's well picked up that time, but he adjusts to the ball in front of Braylon Arnold. Good throw that time by Noland.
Second catch today for Alan Lazard. 225 career catches for Lazard.
46 straight games with a catch.
Yep. Montgomery running play. Hit by Williams, Jordan Williams, short of the 40.
Mark, we saw Taylor Young on crutches last night as we watched David Montgomery here get stuffed up by Baylor. Last night, Matt Ruhle suspended one of his linebackers. Won't mention the name or the infraction, but the attitude wasn't good. The test wasn't turned in right. Matt doesn't have time for that. So they're 2 linebackers short right now on a team that has been decimated by injuries to begin with.
And has played as many young players, underclassmen, as pretty much any team in the nation. With a back shoulder throw out of bounds, looking for Trevor Ryan. Third down and 8 coming up. Baylor defense has held Iowa State so far to 7 points rather.
Yeah.
Last 2 games limiting Kansas and Texas Tech to an average of 20 points. And third down's a lot better as well.
All bases. And here we are with this third down. Minus their leader, Taylor Young.
We go back to the last non-conference game against Duke, and since then Baylor's third down defense is at 33%, but Iowa State has 2 conversions on the drive. The earlier pass went to Lazard, and that was a strike over the middle to Matthew Eaton for 16.
You know, these receivers from Iowa State, they're all over 6'4". This Matthew Eaton looks like about 6'6". He gets right behind the linebacker Jordan Williams that time. Zeb Nolan did a great job of putting it in a good position. Tackle by Kedrick Vaughns.
Another completion for Zeb Nolan. 6th of the day for him. Play fake, throwing again, and incomplete.
You know, last week against Oklahoma State. Zeb Nolan came in replacement of Kyle Kempton. They had first down at the 4-yard line with a chance to tie it up. Threw a fade route to Alan Lazard. It was incomplete, and then the second pass was intercepted, a throw to Marquis Murdoch. And it was one of those plays where it would look like a 50-50 ball. It wasn't clear that it was a real interception, but they took him right to the brink against the Cowboys.
When we talked to offensive coordinator Tom Manning earlier this week, he said Nolan certainly in the situation didn't suffer from lack of confidence last week. Compared him when he walked onto the field to having a swag like John Travolta. As this is a running play, and it's a short running play. Back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it for David Montgomery.
Yeah, well, they are not giving David Montgomery any room to run right now. They were plugging all the holes. Montgomery's so good at creating his own lanes and breaking tackles, but not so far today.
88 missed tackles forced this season by David Montgomery going into play today. As noted earlier, the most in the country. 3rd and 10. Iowa State has converted on 3rd down. One time throwing to Lazard. One time throwing to Eaton. Now the shovel pass, and it's Montgomery. And he breaks out of a tackle, and that was enough to make sure that he has the first down to the Baylor 30.
Well, you're going to see it's just going to be an inside handoff to Montgomery on a little shovel pass. And really, Baylor was in a position to make that play. They just make the tackle.
To Lazard. Lanning will tuck it under and run again for 3 yards. And not only was it a touchdown pass to Lazard, but it was an unbelievable catch last week, Brian.
Well, I mean, it really was, because you're going to see Lazard is going to flip this ball with his left hand, squeeze it with his right, leaving Oklahoma State in disbelief. That was his 8th touchdown catch of the season. Caught one here today, but Lanning is the first one to go celebrate with him.
Lanning is the first player in FBS since 2006 to record a sack, interception, fumble return, rushing touchdown, and passing touchdown in the same season. Zeb Nolan now back in at quarterback on 2nd down, throwing up high for Murdoch. And it's a pass breakup for Graylin Arnold, which is his 2nd of the day. Almost had an interception earlier, if you recall.
Second time he's had his hands on the football. It's going to come right into your living room here on this throw. Arnold's going to make a break on it against a pretty good receiver, Marquis Murdoch. All of the receivers for Iowa State are over 6 foot tall.
For the 5th time on the drive now, Iowa State on 3rd down. Nolan to throw toward the sideline, and for the first time they don't convert on a 3rd down. Murdoch is looking and really upset. No flag came in with the coverage from Jalen Petrie at linebacker.
Petrie just a freshman. A lot of freshmen getting a chance to play. Murdoch's got his left hand on it. Petrie pulls it away from him. Not a bad throw by Nolan to the outside where he wanted. Sets up this field goal attempt.
Garrett Owens out of the hold of Kyle Starcevich. Steve Wirtel, the deep snapper. 34-yard attempt. Long as 42. Transferred from Oregon State from Arroyo Grande, California, and he nails the 34-yard field goal to tie the game. 10-10 with 8:05 left in the 2nd quarter. Iowa State levels the score on the road in Waco against Baylor. John Lovett and Jermichael Hasty are waiting for Garrett Owens' kickoff. I'm sorry, Chris Francis with the kickoff and into the end zone. It will be a touchback. Down goes Hasty. Running play from the 30. Tackled by DeMonte Ruth.
We were talking about Mims. He raced this week Jared Atkinson in a 40. A little competition. Coaches were hoping nobody was going to pull a hamstring. But Mims won easily. They said deceptive speed, very fast, and one of the reasons why he seems to get open quite frequently.
And negates what would have been Blake Lynch's 2nd catch of the day and 13th of the year. Brewer escapes the rush, throws incomplete.
This Charlie Brewer, he runs a 4.6 40, which is very fast for a quarterback. But he also has just an elusive quality to him. They had 2 Cyclone defenders at his legs. He broke right through it. Really saved what could have been a negative play, another negative play. Won the state championship for Lake Travis High School at Austin a year ago. Beat the Woodlands out of Houston.
Third down and long. The penalty really has hurt the drive. 3rd and 17, and Brewer can't escape this time. He got away from the rush last time, but does not get away from Willie Harvey on 3rd and long. And I think Iowa State may be burning a timeout here.
Iowa State takes his second timeout of the half. 30 seconds.
They'll have one timeout remaining and plenty of time as they stop the clock with 2:39 to go in the quarter.
Well, it's a 3-man rush, but Willie Harvey is going to join the party, number 2, a late rusher. And Charlie Brewer's gone out of some trouble today. He couldn't get out of all of that. That's just a delayed rush by Willie Harvey on that play. And that was a good defensive series. A lot of negative plays, sack, negative runs. Matt Campbell's going to make Baylor kick into this win and try and get themselves some good field position. The last time they have Alan Lazard back in a punt return position too, in case the ball is punted short, and he fair caught the ball.
Fourth and 21, a loss of 4 yards on the sack by Willie Harvey. Connor Martin had a 27-yard punt into the wind earlier. It is a stiff breeze. He's able to knife this one through the wind, and then Lazard is blasted on special teams. Big hit. Ross Matisik, the deep snapper, was down there. So was Chris Miller on special teams.
Well, here's Lazard. He's catching. He's not fair catching it either. That's great timing because they didn't interfere with the catch. And as he makes that move, he gets blasted. That turned out to be a pretty good punt and great coverage by Baylor.
So that punt puts Iowa State at their own 32 and a long pass thrown. Oh, what a catch! Hakeem Butler. Butler caught it up against his shoulder and then breaks tackles and scores. One play. Touchdown drive. 67 yards for Iowa State. What a play.
This is one of the great catches in college football. Butler's just running a straight seam route. He gets behind Davion Hall. Now watch this left hand. One-handed catch, and then the finish. 2 guys try to get him down. He can't get Butler down, and in one play, Iowa State with the big play, the first big one they've had on offense today.
That was the Bass Pro Shops catch of the game by Hakeem Butler. Butler has the 2 longest plays from scrimmage this year for Iowa State. 74 yards and 67 yards. One play. Butler with his 5th touchdown grab of the year. And the sophomore puts Iowa State in front 17-10. Leslie McCaslin with Cyclones head coach Matt Campbell.
Well, Coach, we know you guys were late here. They didn't look as sharp early on as they usually are, but how did your team respond?
Well, you know, we're not playing very sharp, you know, and that'll have to be the key for us in the second half. But, you know, a young quarterback thought stepped up, made some great plays for us, and defensively we're starting to settle in, but you're seeing us play with not great detail right now, and that's not who we are.
No, not at all, but your quarterback, as you mentioned, made a great play there. You get the lead for the first time right before halftime. How do you build off that momentum?
Yeah, I think it's something we have to build on, but again, for us, big plays isn't our world. It's doing the little things really well, and we're going to have to do a great job of that.
All right, thanks, Coach.
A big play does have them in front by 7 points. And you're going to see the tail end of that big play. The most important part of it, the fabulous catch by Hakeem Butler and into the end zone for the difference in the game. The halftime show is coming up next. Stay with us. It's another good day for the Iowa State defense. They lead 17-10. Halftime at McLean Stadium, 3rd quarter is just a couple of minutes away. With Ryan Baldinger, I'm Mark Caldwell. Let's talk this double cloud defense for Iowa State that's limited Baylor to 10 points. Now, everybody remembers the scene in Apollo 13 when the carbon dioxide filters have to be, they're not working, they have to be fixed, and the NASA engineer says, all right, we have to take this, and then he holds up a square filter, and fit it in the hole for this, which is a round cylinder, using nothing but that, and he points to this box on the table of things that are on the spaceship. And John Haycock, the defensive coordinator for Iowa State, told us this week that was sort of the representation of how they formed this defense as you read some of the quotes and some of what he told us this week about it.
And it happened between the win against Akron and the game against Texas. They had 12 days, and they had to fix this defense to really maximize what they want to do and how to best use the talent, including a former quarterback playing middle linebacker for this team. And they came up with this double cloud, for another name, not to get too technical here, about how to take away the deep plays and really rally to the football. Now, Iowa State, 2 big plays from their star wide receivers, Lazard and Butler, and Baylor hasn't been able to make any of those.
Here are the first half stats comparing the numbers for Iowa State and Baylor in a game the Cyclones lead by 7. And now a report from Leslie McCaslin. Leslie.
Well, guys, I talked to head coach Matt Ruhle about a couple of things. First of all, he likes the way they're running the ball in the first half. He said so far that's been good for us. The second thing is he likes the way they're playing defense, but he said losing Taylor Young really hurts. They don't have a lot of subs left. And he said the biggest key, though, for the second half is winning the third down. They're 2 of 9. Iowa State is 5 of 9 on third down. He said they have to win that battle.
And remember, Iowa State had a drive where they converted 4 third downs. On their 5th third down attempt, Baylor stopped them and held them to a field goal. And once again, already a big leg and then a boost from the wind for Chris Francis. It's a touchback. There's Taylor Young, and he's talking to one of the young linebackers, Lenoy Jones.
We see that's Clay Johnson. He was the starting middle linebacker, and now Lenoy Jones is the new middle linebacker, and Taylor Young is talking to both of them. Clay Johnston got hurt 3 weeks ago. He's still second on this team in tackles. He was having a great season. Jalen Petra, number 24, he's the freshman linebacker. So Taylor Young is now kind of helping to coach that group right now that's been so banged up throughout the year.
You know, there was great talk about Iowa State's defense, and before the point gets away, again a reminder, just under 20 points per game allowed per Big 12 conference game is second best. Throw to Denzel Mims. They're also the best pass defense in Big 12 games this year, allowing only 225 yards through the air.
This is a little play, read pass option right here, run pass option. And when both linebackers came up front, they were able to get the ball behind them to Denzel Mims.
Mims had a slow start today, but he's coming to life late in the second quarter. Caught 3 passes. That went for 14. John Lovett is wrestled down by Ray Lima on a first down run, only gaining a yard to the 40.
Well, these defensive tackles, both Vernell Trent and Ray Lima, they are tough to maneuver. And if you're going to run a 3-man defensive line, you better be able to defeat double-team blocks. And all 3 of them, Jaquan Bailey right there in the picture, J.D. Wagner, and Ray Lima, they're all capable of doing that.
Baylor trying to maintain a winning streak in this series. They've won the last 4. Lead the series all-time 9-6. Flag is down. Long pass play intended for Denzel Mims. DeAndre Payne, junior corner, back in coverage, and a marker is thrown.
First time today that a Baylor receiver was able to get behind Iowa State. This is going to be against Iowa State.
Pass interference. Defense, number 1. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic. First down.
DeAndre Payne is, you got that left arm. There's the penalty. The left arm around the waist, turning Denzel Mims. That's when the flag came out. The incidental contest wasn't bad. It was that left arm around the waist when the flag came out.
Only the second penalty today against Iowa State. They average only 4 game fewest in the Big 12. Now 45 yards in penalties today, which is 9 more than Iowa State usually concedes per game. A short hop throw and an incompletion.
Charlie Brewer's a tough kid. Willie Harvey just blasted him this time. As he throws a ball, he gets blasted right on his arm. That's what it looks like. In fact, that should have been a penalty there. Willie Harvey hit Charlie Brewer right in the face mask that time.
Right.
I mean, you got to call that penalty.
Harvey this year has 3 quarterback sacks, came close to a sack, forced Brewer to throw an incomplete pass. John Lovett running the ball, second down and 10. Forced to the outside, stiff arm against Brian Peavy. Finally wrestled down shy of the 30. Good pursuit to the sideline here by Iowa State's defense.
Well, they're going to leverage this ball. They're just going to bounce everything to the sideline. There's Peavy. That guy, I tell you, You can't block that guy. You can't get him off you, and he'll find a way to tackle you to the ground. He is a good, aggressive corner.
Iowa State following their form in terms of tackles for loss. They lead the Big 12 by a significant margin in that stat, and today they have 6 tackles for loss now. Back to throw Brewer underneath Hasty, 3rd and 14, and Iowa State, as their defense is designed to do, keeps everything in front of them. Peavy takes down Hasty, but not much damage done.
Matt Rhule's got to decide here if he can send the field goal team out. Attempt into the wind. This is going to be too far for a field goal. He's going to kick into the wind here. This is not going to be an easy kick.
This is 47 yards. Top of the goalpost, you don't see the flags moving much. Where you see it is higher up. The kick by Connor Martin, and he has the leg and hits it. A booming field goal by Martin puts 3 on the board for Baylor and trims Iowa State's lead to 4 points. Longest field goal of the year for Connor Martin.
Into a stiff wind, but he kicked it straight. Right through the middle of his goalpost. Excellent hold.
Very good hold by Clint Kelly.
Timed it with the wind where it wasn't a big gust coming at him. That's a good opening drive for Baylor here to start the 3rd quarter. Cuts this lead from 17-10 to 17-13.
Let's see what kind of leg strength Martin has here on the kickoff. To the 1-yard line. One back to the 20. Amici Walker.
Great coverage.
Kyle Kemp, the walk-on, who had started 6 games this year, went out last week against Oklahoma State with a shoulder injury. That's why Nolan played last week and started today. A little pitch play to David Montgomery. And Montgomery's had a hard time with running the ball today, averaging only 3.5 yards a carry.
Well, it's just a little pitch, but watch them fight to get to the outside, get off the blocks here, all the way down, stretching them all the way to the sideline. David Montgomery does not want to run out of bounds. You've got to force him to get out of bounds.
Gained 4 yards. He's at 12 carries, 43 yards today. Swerving and running up to the 30-yard line. That should move the sticks for Iowa State. A little over 3 minutes into the 3rd quarter.
Well, just a good little jump stop after he cleared the line of scrimmage to make a guy miss, which he does so effortlessly.
Nearly 10 missed tackles that he's forced today. Montgomery's 3rd straight run. Stutter steps, lowers his head beyond the 40, and another move of the 6.
Let's just watch the feet here of David Montgomery. Makes him Davion Hall miss completely. He grabs nothing but just about air. Pretty shot.
Tayon Sells finally tackled him. Now a throw, looking for Lazard. It's the Ruhle here. Hit the ground first.
Hit the ground.
Incomplete pass.
Trying to make this stick throw. Yeah, actually, it was a good throw.
Yeah.
Went right into the belly of Lazard and a rare drop.
Maybe Lenoy Jones Jr. coming into his field of vision at the last second. Maybe threw off the concentration. Incompletion for Zev Nolan. Goes below 50% on the day. 9 for 19 now for the freshman.
2 big touchdown throws, though, and that's the difference.
Play clock winding down to 2 seconds. Running play, Montgomery. 1 tackle. Broken. 2 tackles broken, and down he goes. But another big gain for the running back from Cincinnati, who goes over 1,000 yards on the season with that run.
And his best run of the day. Bounces, makes Jalen Petrie miss there. 2 more missed tackles as he stays in bounds and trying to fight for every blade of grass in McLean Stadium.
Went for 17 yards. Now a poor pass that's off target. Jalen Petrie in coverage. Intended receiver Marchie Murdoch. 2nd and 10.
Well, I think Zev Nolan is, he's under 50% completion today, and the wind is playing havoc, and you just wonder, growing up in Watkinsville, Georgia, outside Athens, how many days he had to throw the ball with a ripping, circling wind like he's throwing today.
Not to mention that this is his first start as a freshman.
Yes. But with the swagger of a John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever, if anybody remembers that movie.
And off Montgomery. Montgomery, it opens up for him. Good run support, broke out of the tackle of Vaughn's. And then at the end of the play, the ball came out, but it appears that the indication is he was down and is down just shy of the Baylor 20.
Well, let's watch him break some more tackles.
That's what he does.
Ball's in his left arm right here. Puts that right foot in the ground, a violent change of direction. Powerful man.
Kendrick Vaughn's ran up and hit him hard, but Montgomery ran through the tackle. And they'll flare it out again for Trevor Ryan, and Ryan cut away and made a couple of would-be tacklers miss before he reaches the 15-yard line as we check in with Leslie McCaskill. Leslie.
Well, guys, if you talk to Tom Manning, he'll tell you the one position where talent is important but is overrated is on the offensive line. He said it's a craft. It's something that they take tremendous amount of pride in. They work on their technique, and they have definitely improved this year.
Well, I think that's important to note, given what Brian just said about Phil Snow, the Baylor defensive coordinator, saying that Matt Campbell's teams have always had really, really good offensive lines, and they work at it. They take pride in it. When we heard Tom Manning tell us that before the Kansas game earlier this year, you could really see that as Montgomery fights forward to the 10-yard line and moves the sticks again. You could really see, Brian, when Tom Manning was talking about that, about the craft of being an offensive lineman, how much pride he and the line had in that.
Well, not only that, but this Matt Campbell, when he was at Toledo, I mean, they coached the NFL's leading rusher. And Kareem Hunt was a third-round pick out of Toledo this year. And the quarterback there now, Logan Woodside, might be a star in the NFL when he gets out of school this year.
The number you just saw, only 14 sacks allowed this year, second fewest to the Big 12. Now at the 10-yard line. It's been a steady diet. I think you could say a heavy diet of Montgomery on this drive, and he plows forward down to the 7. It will be second down and goal.
Well, you almost think that at halftime, Matt Campbell was going, okay, let's just get back to the basics here. Like you remember he's told Leslie, yeah, the big passes, that's not who we are. This is who Matt Campbell is. This type of drive, pounding it, letting the offensive line go to work. This is what he favors, time of possession, controlling the line of scrimmage. And the guys up front are doing that right now.
Today is now the 8th career 100-yard rushing game for David Montgomery. He's at 100 on the button. 19 carries to get there. Running play, land-ram package carried forward by Lanning. And Lanning in at quarterback, surges down to the 5-yard line.
But they pull the center this time. Julian Good-Jones right here. He gets out front. He's a good puller, too. He leads the sweep. Good block on Tayan Sells, the safety. Good-Jones, he's only a sophomore out of Cedar Rapids. 16 straight starts for him.
Motion for Marchie Murdoch. It's 3rd and goal, Iowa State at the 5. Nolan looking to throw, puts it towards the back corner of the end zone, and incomplete for Alan Lazard.
That was exactly how Baylor wants to play that play.
With Braylon Arnold. Yep.
He played it blind with his face to the man. Here he is. Watch how he plays this. What we call a man turn. He's playing with his back to the quarterback, but he goes up when Lazard goes up. And then he's trying to get his hand right in the face so he can't squeeze it. That's exactly what Phil Snow wanted. Exactly what Phil Snow told us yesterday, the defensive coordinator. When young players do what the coaches tell them to do, that's a great thing on game day.
And it's been one of the rewards this year for Baylor, playing so many youngsters, freshmen and sophomores, and seeing when the light goes on. That was a tough angle on the field goal, but it's made by Garrett Owens. 22 yards to extend the lead to 7 points, 6:25 to go, third quarter. With 6:25 to play in the third quarter, Iowa State 20, Baylor 13. Iowa State has had a 16-play drive, ended a field goal today. They just had a 17-play drive, ended a field goal. David Montgomery gained 61 of the 75 yards on the drive, and 22 yards on the field goal for Garrett Owens to extend the lead back to 7 points.
And when you go 17 plays like that, Mark, it's up to the offense to control the ball and give the defense. A defense that's been beleaguered by injuries, a rest.
Kickoff, Chris Francis. Fielded in the end zone by Trevor White. Here comes Charlie Brewer, who has the bloodlines, no doubt about that, to play quarterback. His granddad, Charles Brewer, from Lubbock High School, played collegiately at Texas, was a starter in the 50s. His dad, Robert Brewer, played high school football near Dallas at Richardson High School, was a starting quarterback for the Longhorns in the 80s. His brother, Michael Brewer, started at Texas Tech, playing there, didn't start games, but played there, then became a starting quarterback at Virginia Tech. And now Charlie Brewer, high school state championship at Lake Travis last year, Class 6A Division I at Texas, and now a starting quarterback, third game this year he started for Baylor.
Yeah, and no wonder why he acts like he's been here before.
Looped out on the right side, good throw. A lot of room to run after the catch for Tony Nicholson. First down picked up for the 25 to the 38-yard line.
Well, you got Thanksgiving coming up, right? So it's a great football holiday, great national holiday. But how many Thanksgivings was Charlie Brewer watching football with his grandfather, his father, his brother? I mean, he'd been watching and dreaming about this his whole life.
And a good throw to Nicholson. 6 minutes left in the third quarter. Now it is a deep pass and incomplete. And it's not just granddad and dad and brother that he was talking football with at Thanksgiving. For more, here's Leslie.
One guy that they always forget about is the uncle on the mom's side. Charlie's mom's brother is Rob Morshell, who played quarterback, running back, and punt returner at the University of Texas. In fact, the last quarterback at UT to go undefeated his entire career. And his dad, Robert, told me Charlie is actually the most like him, not the biggest guy, but he can run.
And we've seen him run, and we've seen him throw to great Blake Lynch. He put that one right between the two on the one volley. Another catch from Blake Lynch, and the sticks move again.
Yeah, and you know what? He's getting time. You know, Iowa State just rushes through. He's been patient here, and he's finding some lanes to throw it through.
Handoff to Hasty. Goes low to the 35. Maybe some of the best throws we've seen today from Charlie Brewer on this particular drive.
Well, this drive, and I think the drive before, he made some good throws, too. I think the second half, he's been very sharp. He gets the plays from Jeff Mixon, the offensive coordinator.
26 throws today, 165 pass attempts this year. We mentioned the 3 starts, but don't forget he played a lot against West Virginia. He played a lot against Texas earlier this year. Running is Hasty and eluding a tackle. Hasty coming toward the sideline. Stiff arm and out of bounds. The stiff arm on Reggie Wilkerson at the end, steps out at the 15.
Good block that time on this outside here by Feuerbacher on the blitz. He picks it up, opens the lane here, and Hasty does the rest. Breaking a lot of tackles here. We've seen Montgomery breaking tackles, and look at that broken tackle of Everett Edwards, the transfer from Duke.
13 carries, 70 yards today for Jamichael Hasty. Moving on from the 15, Brewer stands in the pocket. Brewer running, slides inside the 10.
So, Charlie Brewer, you know, he dropped back 63 times last week. They had a separate practice session today for Charlie Brewer to slide. He still doesn't quite have it, evidenced right here. It kind of like, kind of rolls into the slide, not quite the slide yet. But, you know, these quarterbacks, they got to learn how to protect themselves when they go into the teeth of the defense and they're scrambling.
He's run it 10 times today. A lot of design quarterback draws have been called. That went for 5 yards. Baylor knocking on the door, looking for a tying touchdown late in the third quarter. Hasty might be the last play of the quarter. Went for 2 yards, Brian.
Well, with that run right there by Hasty, it actually got Iowa State into a 4-man front here for the first time all day. They'll go to a 4-man front if you're hurting them in the run game.
Now they'll switch ends and have the wind at their back for the fourth quarter. Baylor will. But they're down on the scoreboard. To the fourth we go on Fox. Iowa State 20, Baylor 13. Start of the fourth quarter, we look at the Ace Hardware game summary. Iowa State leads Baylor 20-13. They've thrown for 178. They've run for 106. 5 of 11 on third down. Seb Nolan, his first start, 2 touchdown passes. Baylor balanced today with 118 on the ground, 140 in the air.
And Charlie Brewer is growing up right in front of everybody watching him. Third start here and doing a good job of taking care of the football. And
last year as a senior at Lake Travis High School set a national high school record for completion percentage, just over 77%. 2/3 of his passes completed today. Will he go to the air here on third down and short? He does. It's caught. John Lovett out of the backfield, turns for the goal line, and is stopped short at the 2. That's where it will be. First and goal.
John Lovett, just a freshman, just sneaks out of the backfield. Lines up there and just underneath, just taking whatever the zone gives him. A little bit of a softness. Good accurate throw from Brewer. Baylor trying to get their big people on the field right now. Trying to get a little power football. In fact, they have no wide receivers on the field on this set.
7th catch of the year for Lovett. And it's Lovett now running the ball for the 9th time today and nowhere to go. He tried to run behind. Kyle Boyd, the fullback. The ball is out. Iowa State says they have it. Sure looks like they do. They do. There is the official indication. Mike DeVee at the 2-yard line. Lovett fumbles.
Well, Peavy's on the tackle here. Does Peavy strip the ball out? It's still in Lovett's hands here, and he just pulls the ball out. That's Brian Peavy pulling the ball right out from underneath him.
It's fantastic.
Pulled right out of his hands.
Fantastic camera work, by the way, that we could see.
Unbelievable camera work. Peavy pulled the ball right out.
Joel Lanning knew. He was the first one signaling the other direction for Iowa State. Well, the turnover battle is what it's all about for Iowa State, and it takes until the second play of the 4th quarter, but they have forced one for the first time today.
Well, when they have won the turnover battle this year, they're 6-0. When they have lost the turnover battle, they're 0-4. It's really, Matt Campbell says, our margin for error is that slim, that when we lose it, we're not good enough to overcome it. And for Matt Ruhle at Baylor, it's pretty much the same thing. One time they won the turnover battle this year, they beat Kansas.
And that was another stop and another red zone turnover as Montgomery runs out to the 10-yard line. Remember that Baylor last week had 2 possessions in the red zone that ended in turnovers and another possession that ended with a goal line stand by Texas Tech, stopping them on 4th and goal at the 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's an improving football team, but getting that ball ripped out of a freshman's hands like that, you hope that he learns that, and it doesn't happen going forward in his career.
Montgomery ran for 6. Montgomery spinning forward to the 20. All right, Greg, here in Waco, we see a running play for Montgomery again. And Montgomery, and he's such a specialist at making people miss tackles, and there had to be 4 or 5 missed tackles forced on that run from the 20 out to the 46.
Well, let's just count them. There's one. Here he makes Chez Waz. He's going to miss.
We unofficially have him at 17 missed tackles forced today, Brian.
And, you know, nobody's getting that ball out of his hands either. They're grabbing at it, and they don't get it out. 5 points of pressure, squeeze that ball to his body. It never gets away, and he doesn't put the ball on the ground.
Montgomery, after the 26-yard run, needs a breather on this first down snap under the 9-minute mark. Sheldon Croney, and Croney, oh, they're just gashing that Baylor defense. Huge hole for Croney to run to the 43 of the Bears.
Well, right now, I think they're just wearing this Baylor defense down. They come at him with a fire zone blitz. They take both inside linebackers, and they cross him, and Croney ran right by both linebackers. Phil Snow trying to dial up a pressure here to stop this rushing attack.
Croney stays in after the 11-yard run. For the first time on the drive, looking to throw it, and it's for Lazard. And Lazard, his path to get to the ball was impeded by the defender, the freshman Harrison Hand from Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
Pass interference. Defense, number 31. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic. First down.
You can see, Hand has position on him. He's looking back for the ball. But he impedes. That's a good call. Impedes Lazard right there. That's a good call. Nolan takes one of the rare hits he's taken today by Baylor's pressure.
After Croney was in to give Montgomery a breather for 2 plays, Montgomery is back on the on the field, 28-yard line of Baylor. Runs down to the 25. You know, you look at running backs, Brian, the good ones, don't they always get better as the game goes along?
Sure.
And maybe that's a byproduct of the line wearing down the opponent. But 39 yards in the first half. Montgomery has 116 yards in the second half.
It helps that Montgomery runs behind 2 tackles that are 6'8".
Sure.
They're like big Iowa silos out there.
Block out the sun.
They obliterate the sun.
Those tackles, Jake Campbell from West Des Moines. And Sean Foster from Mundelein, Illinois.
Yep. Tom Manning was telling us they're trying to improve the depth up front.
Nowhere to go this time, though, for Montgomery. The offensive line has done well, but those guys on the other side of the football are going to win some of those battles as well. That was Brian Nance, the tackle for loss.
Captain, right here. Here's Nance. He's coming underneath, just trailing the play. Once he got his arms around Montgomery, he wasn't giving it up. No breaking the tackle with Brian Nance. One of those seniors that Matt Ruhle was going to have in a photograph in his office for as long as he's at Baylor.
They're going into the wind. 28-yard line. 5 of 12 on third down. Nolan under pressure, throws the ball, and Ryan loses it. He had it. He's dislodged from it before he caught it, and it's an incomplete pass.
Phil Snow came after. You're going to get a blitz coming off the corner right here from Henry Black. He puts the hit on Zeb Nolan, and then Braylon Arnold playing good football out here today. Trevor Ryan had that ball on. Good job by Arnold just getting it pulled out.
He makes that catch, then it's a much better field goal situation for Garrett Owens. Owens has hit from over 50 yards in his career, transfer from Oregon State, and this is a 45-yard boot, and it's a beauty. Nails it with 7:01 to go, and the Iowa State lead extends to 2 possessions. Cyclones 23-13 lead with 7 minutes to play in Waco. Third field goal of the day for Iowa State, made by Garrett Owens. Drilled a 45-yarder into the wind. 8-play, 64-yard drive. A lot of David Montgomery. Sheldon Croney had his name called on the drive as well, and running back for Iowa State. Chris Francis kicking off. Garrett Owens has hit 3 field goals today. And Francis to Trevor White at the 1-yard line. A return by White, fought off a tackle at the 20. Stays on his feet past the 25. And 14 third down attempts today. Baylor has needed an average of well over 8 yards, but they only have a 2-yard gain they need, and they have that 2-yard gain and more. Up near midfield, Denzel Mims. A lot more than 2 yards picked up. Goes for 12 to the 48.
Charlie Brewer played in a very similar offense at Lake Travis High School. Get the plays out quickly.
Late pressure from the spy, Joel Lanning. Hasty.
At high school, Lake Travis, right down I-35 here, down in Austin, Texas. One Baker Mayfield played at Lake Travis High School.
Yes, sir.
You know, Baker Mayfield getting an awful lot of attention for the coveted Heisman Trophy. He's gotten votes in each of the last 2 years.
And given his performances for Oklahoma this year, it would seem that it's his Heisman to lose right now. Underneath, Hasty. First down will stop the clock to move the chains. Iowa State trying to tackle the ball out as Marcel Spears stops Hasty at the 40.
I mean, Charlie Brewer right now is just taking whatever Marcel Spears and this defense will allow. The clock is quickly becoming the enemy of Baylor. Eventually, they're going to have to take a deep shot. Mims is the guy to go to.
Lovett is the running back. He stays in, chips a defensive lineman, stepping up from the 41. Low pass caught. Down goes Pooh Strickland. Chains move again at the 25.
That's not good. As Brewer staying in here. They come with a delayed blitz right here up the middle of Willie Harvey. He hits Brewer. Affects that throw a little bit, but Strickland finally gets in the stat column today.
Pooh Strickland's 32nd catch this year. Sophomore receiver from Waco, Midway High School in Waco. Brewer is 6 for 6 on the drive. Now he throws an interception, though. It is picked off by Reggie Wilkerson, and a run back outside the 35, and down he goes. Second turnover today for Baylor. Ball might have come out at the end of the interception return. Iowa State's back on it.
The runner was down by Ruhle. First down.
Reggie Wilkerson with the interception and ran it back. And he was down at the end of the run back. No fumble.
Well, Brewer tries to force this ball right into this 8-man zone. And Wilkerson picks it off. Now, let's just take a look at the end of this play. Is he down?
Yes.
Yes.
Today, Iowa State is a +2 in the turnover battle. They're +11 in turnover margin for the year. Reggie Wilkerson's interception a moment ago stopped a Baylor drive. Iowa State a 10-point lead with possession, 4:48 to go. We're going to see a lot of this, Baldy. David Montgomery running the ball. He's driven back with a big hit by Lenoy Jones Jr. Defenders had him low. Jones hit him up high, and that torque and force of that tackle of the defenders low and high, both hitting Montgomery, has him down and hurt.
He's been so durable all year, too.
The sophomore from Cincinnati.
Look at that.
Leading FBS, accounting for 84% of his team's rushing yards. 5th in offensive touches with 236. He is, and we haven't talked much about his pass catching ability, but 33 receptions this year coming into play today, and no weight or pressure at all being put on his left leg right now.
No.
Sheldon Croney's gone in, sophomore from Bakersfield, California, the same high school that produced safeties Kamari Cotton-Moya and Lawrence White. They have 3 players from Ridgeview High School in Bakersfield.
A little pipeline there.
From the streets of Bakersfield to Ames. And Croney with the run, and slashing off the left side. Fresh legs coming in, and Croney brought down from behind. Big run for Sheldon Croney. Tackled by Jordan Williams.
He only had 12 runs all year coming into today in the first 10 games. But he's breaking tackles the way Montgomery does. Running right off the left side there behind Campbell and Garcia.
Croney had an 11-yard run earlier. That went for 25 yards. And he'll go to the sophomore again. It looks like it will be up to him to run the 4-minute offense for Iowa State as they try to run out the clock on a game they lead by 10 points.
Ira Lewis, he's shaking his head, though. Not on me. He ain't going to get another run like that. As he looks to the sideline for the defensive signal.
Remember that if they bring this win over the finish line, Iowa State will have 7 wins, guaranteeing their first winning season since 2009. When under Paul Rhodes, they went 7-6 with a win in the Insight Bowl against Minnesota. The bowl game is what gave them the 7th win that year. They'll have 7 wins with another conference game still to play, the Farmageddon matchup against Kansas State, and then whatever bowl game they'll be going to. Trevor Ryan goes down, by the way, after the pass catch.
Of just frustration.
What a season for David Montgomery. And you certainly hope for him and for Iowa State that there is more season for him to play.
Chin up, David Montgomery. We like the way you play. Want to see you back out here.
Like the way this entire team plays. They have a 3rd and 9. Baylor's got to get a stop and get the ball back. Sheldon Croney, that's a tough run.
He's going to be short of the first down.
By a yard, maybe a little more.
Yeah, and you just wonder here. Up 2 scores. Why not just go for it on 4th down? Croney's running the ball well. Give it to the offensive line. Josh Niffle, Sean Foster, Julian Good-Jones, Robbie Garcia. Run time off the clock.
Land-ram option now because Joel Lanning's gone in after the timeout. This is 4th down, and it's a full 2 yards that they need at the Baylor 29 to put the game away. Lanning running it, and isn't that a signature way for Iowa State to cap off this win today? Plunging forward for 3 on 4th and 2. Joel Lanning, Mr. Two-way player.
Well, you know, he's been the heart and soul of this team ever since they suggested to him in the spring to go from quarterback, where he wasn't a full-time starter, to middle linebacker. And he ran with it. And they kept the package in for him to be able to do this kind of wildcat formation, which he loves doing. Leading the team in tackles, second in the Big 12 in tackles.
No FBS team since the statistic was recorded has gone a full season without losing a fumble. The last team to only lose one fumble in a year was 2004 Northern Illinois. Joel Lanning running and Lanning. And the reason that he's not going to lose a fumble is watch how he protected and wrapped up the ball once the contact started coming in at the 25.
He got both hands around it. Here it is. It's a bar of gold. It's valuable. It's in his left hand. But once he gets in here now, right now, there it is. Both hands around the ball. You're not going to pull that ball out of his hands the way Brian Peavy pulled it out of John Lovett's hands.
There's that number, that graphic on how few fumbles lost by Northern Illinois, Miami, and Bowling Green in the past. The FBS records, and Iowa State trying to go the whole season without losing one. Their number of plays today, they've won 65 plays today. It's 773 straight plays, with Lanning getting to the end of that play and hanging onto the ball and gaining 7, almost 8 yards.
So many yards after contact, too. I mean, he's 230, 235-pound middle linebacker.
Well, fitting that Joel Lanning is going to stay on the field and be the man who will shepherd this 7th win of the season over the finish line, the win that will guarantee Iowa State a winning season for the first time in 8 years. Earlier this season, John Haycock said in 35 years of coaching football had never seen a more unselfish act by a player. And it meant so much to the team because of the message it sent to everyone else when Joel Lanning said, I want to keep playing at Iowa State. I don't want to transfer. It's not about me being a quarterback. I'll do what I can to help my team and transfer positions, change positions to be the starting middle linebacker. And now it is definitely a first down. Inside the 10, the tackle by Ira Lewis.
Good pull that time by the center. We've shown it before today. Julian Good-Jones, he's going to follow the center around here. Or Garcia pulls, the left guard pull. Leads him into the hole. They can effectively take their victory formation as Matt Campbell does take the headsets off. A day where they were stranded in Temple, Texas, up until about an hour and a half before kickoff because of an accident. Didn't get to the stadium until about didn't get to the stadium until about an hour before kickoff.
As we here in Texas know, don't forget the construction aspect of I-35 as well.
They are expanding and growing.
Well, for Baylor, senior day does not end the way they want. Matt Ruhle and his staff have done a lot of work this year, and there are better days ahead for them, and they'll end up the season next week at TCU. They're 1-10, but Iowa State will savor the flavor of a winning season for the first time in 8 years. It is official. They are 7-4 with a game against Kansas State still to play and a bowl game coming up after that. Leslie McCaslin now is on the field with head coach Matt Campbell. Leslie?
Well, coaches, Mark Followill just said you're guaranteed a winning season. Where did you see your team improve today in order to get that?
Yeah, this is a really resilient group. We've gone through a lot. Hasn't always been easy, but these kids stay the course. And the one thing, our attitude and effort allows us to kind of overcome whatever comes our way. And these kids have continued to do that, and I appreciate that about them.
Yeah, you said you didn't like the way they played in the first half. It wasn't you. How did you guys change that in the second half?
Well, we ran the football, and that's the key to our success. And then we played real good defense. And those two areas are what's allowed us when we're playing good football. Those two things have been good for us, and I was really proud of our kids' second half effort.
Well, clearly we hope David Montgomery's okay because it was fun to watch him out there today.
He's awesome. I think he'll be just fine. X-rays came back clear, so I know him. He'll be back ready to roll.
All right, what's the hope to do for the end of the season? What's the goal?
Well, we got to finish. I think this group of kids that, as we have not experienced a lot of success in Ames, and we're starting to turn this program to a really special place, it's all about finish, and that's what these kids have done, and that's the expectation for this team.
All right, people are taking notice. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks so much.
If they finish with 2 wins, they'll tie the school record for wins in a season with 9. How about Zeb Nolan today as we see him walking up, the freshman, on the road engineering a win in his first start?
Yeah, no, I thought he played well. He took care of the football. He threw a couple big touchdown throws to his big receivers and Lazard and Butler. I think he's got to feel pretty good about things today on the road, getting his first start. And things have turned around in Iowa State. Things are getting better at Baylor. The record isn't really showing it, but they battle hard. The injuries have really taken their toll, but Matt Ruhle will get it turned around the way Matt Campbell has turned it around.
Final score today, Iowa State 23, Baylor 13. For Brian Baldinger, Leslie McCaslin, and our great crew in Waco, Texas. I'm Mark Followell. Thanks for watching. This has been a presentation of Fox College Football.